everyone. I'm Marty Chinesky along with the man who runs the show around here. One of them, Joel Atkins, is our assistant. As Ken Brown is in Seattle, he got to catch himself a Michigan loss when he went to sailgating. Everybody sailgates right there on the water. The stadium in Washington is right on the water. And then you go into town on the subway, and he watched Seattle lose to the lowly New York Giants on Sunday, as he likes to do a once-a-year stadium tour. And I think the one year he did like a game in Baltimore and a game like New York. He caught like a Monday night game right next to a Sunday game. He had a good trip. This was probably a good trip too, and he'll be back next week. So Joel, you're on this side of the camera today. How the heck are you?
Busy. All right, though. Busy. Hanging in there.
Well, we filmed the game Friday night. We can start with football. Unfortunately, our Roosevelt Bears lost, but it was 23-0 against Allen Park, an undefeated football team, and they really competed.
Yeah, they showed a lot more, not just compete, but composure than in previous weeks. They had forced a turnover with an interception in the first half. They looked like a more put together football team despite the loss.
And after, like we were discussing in the booth, after a 5 weeks of practice, you should be a little tighter with everything. But they did have, if I do recall, they did stop Allen Park early in the second half, or with there was like 3rd and 8, and they stopped them, and one of their players shoulder popped the quarterback, got an unsportsmanlike, and they gave him a free first down.
Yeah.
And I think they walked down the field and scored after that. Excuse me.
Those penalties are frustrating at any level, and they're obviously more prevalent at the high school level than they are at college or even at the pro level. But it's the type of thing that will kill a team's momentum. And I remember that penalty, but I don't remember checking if that jersey number got back out there on the field after that penalty.
Yeah, I think he did. But it really was it was poor timing.
Yeah.
Because you just stopped them. They were going to punt.
Yep.
And I think at the time it might have only been 15-0, because the half was 15-0, if I do believe.
Yeah.
And the Bears had chances down low. They had chances to score, and they kept their composure. The last game I did was 2 weeks before that, and Carlson ran over them pretty good, and you could see it in their demeanor that they were just beat.
Yeah.
And this time they were competing. They had a chance to score a couple of times, but they didn't. Here we have the football scores for the week. Edsel Ford had the game that was non-league. Took care of Clarenceville 35-13. And the big game, Southgate took care of Woodhaven 41-21. And Lincoln Park getting back on the winning ways against Taylor, who Wyandotte has not played yet at 0-6.
Yep.
And that could be their chance to break the goose egg.
Could be. Although I was taking a look at the standings today, Lincoln Park sitting at 3-2. I think Southgate and Woodhaven all jumbled up there at 3-2. Taylor, I believe, was also sitting with zero wins. So
somebody's coming out with a win in that one. Hopefully it's our Bears. Next week's homecoming, if I do understand correctly.
This week.
This Friday. And right now, as we sit here, the Tigers are in the 9th inning in a 0-0 game in Cleveland. Trenton, though, on the other hand, walked into Carlson and rolled them their first loss of the season. An interesting game. It ended up 28-14. And Trenton, which, if everyone recalls, 2 years ago, big brouhaha, brought in a new coach from out of state. Guy had won state titles from out of state, and everybody was like, oh no, we've had this guy waiting in the wings forever. He should get the gig.
Because he had gotten the job, correct? And then they essentially said, hold on a second, not so fast.
Not so fast. We're going to, right. So they almost like gifted him the job. The previous coach is like, oh, this guy will take over. And they were like, no, we're going to put this job up for bid, and we're going to see who we get. And everybody was whining, but last year Trenton got to play in the playoffs for the first time in forever. and they just walked into Gibraltar Carlson and basically rolled them. They, according to my sources in Carlson, I won't mention Mr. Krolak's name, but it's sorry, Justin. They got outplayed. With the way the coach set it up in Trenton, they were going to control the clock.
Yeah.
And they took the first kickoff and they went down the field methodically, 3, 4, 5 yards at a time. They came out running the option, picking up yards at a time. When Carlson got the ball back, there was only 4 minutes left in the first quarter, a little over 4 minutes. So they burned 7 minutes off the clock. And then Carlson went 3 and out. And they got the ball back on a punt. And son of a gun, if Trenton didn't hold the ball, march all the way down the field, when Trenton got the ball, when Carlson got the ball back, it was 14-0, and there was only 6 minutes left in the half. So they controlled the clock the whole time.
And to see, I mean, the right strategy, because if you looked at Carlson's the box scores for their previous games, they've been running up the score against teams. So to see them only score 14 points,
Right.
the other side did a lot of things right, including keep the ball away from them.
Keep the ball away from them, and Coach, Reggie Glahn is the head coach of Trenton, and he said that was our strategy going in. Now, it didn't take Carlson long when they got the ball back with 6 minutes left. Krolak ran around the end for 75 yards. They scored on the second play. So they scored in another 40 seconds, and then they never touched the ball again in the second half. And Trenton had a chance to take 3 more points on there, but it was 14-7. They missed the field goal as the clock expired. So then in the second half, from what I understand, the same thing happened. They held them. They fumbled. They tried a little hook lateral play, a hook and ladder kind of thing. Carlson did, and they fumbled the ball. And then Trenton marched it down the field and didn't give them a chance. They wasted another 7 minutes. And then by the time Carlson got it, they ended up scoring. It was 28-7, and then Carlson scored towards the end of the game to make it 28-14. So it's just, it's brilliant coaching. I mean, if you can run the option and keep the clock, keep the ball out of that high-powered offense's hand, you're going to win games.
Yeah, and not only is the offense sitting there on the sideline getting cold, I think mentally, when you're a team that's used to possessing the ball and putting up a lot of points, you're not even getting a chance to touch the ball.
Correct.
That is throwing you off your game.
I agree with that 100%. So this week, Trenton doesn't get any easier. They're going to play host to Allen Park, who's undefeated. That should be a great game in Trenton next week. Allen Park, as we said, took care of Wyandotte last week. And then Carlson, they got to play Woodhaven. So they got to bounce back with another tough game. All the games, I guess, down at this time of the year are going to be tough.
Well, and, Woodhaven sitting in the middle of the pack, they had that, what looked like it could have been a fluke last year, that down year. And they look a little better this year, but it seems pretty clear at this point that they have fallen from the top, the elite in the Downriver League to more the middle of the pack.
Now we get our non-league game homecoming. We're playing South Lyon East.
Yeah.
That could be dangerous. I don't know their record off the top of my head.
Yeah, I looked it up before we came on. I think they have a winning record. I would say overall they're probably in an overall stronger league. But they beat that Waterford Mott that I know Roosevelt played a few years ago and lost to. So it could be a tough homecoming.
Tigers have first and third with 2 outs in the ninth. The rest of the season, the sixth schedule next week, Lincoln Park's playing Southgate, Trenton's playing Allen Park, like I said. Edsel Ford gets Taylor, and Wyandotte, South Lyon East. So we shall see what happens with those games, and we will obviously talk about them next week. And speaking of Edsel Ford volleyball. Edsel Ford volleyball walked into Allen Park and basically walked away with a victory in that tight little gymnasium that is Allen Parks. And it was tough. They were all 2-point games. Etzel Ford won the first set 26-24. They got the second set 27-25. And they lost the third set 26-24. And then they came back and jumped out to a 10-4 lead and won the last set 25-16.
Now, how does the scoring in volleyball work? These seem like odd scores to me.
Well, if you get it used to be you had to serve to get the point. That's no longer the case because those games were lasting
took forever.
10 hours.
Yeah.
So now, whenever the ball hits the ground, somebody's getting the point.
Okay.
So that's basically, you could serve it and get the point, or they can serve it, you could slam it in their face.
It's just a single point.
Single point.
Okay.
And then they play a best 3 out of 5. If it gets to the fifth set, it's a game to 15, which just makes it first whoever gets out to the fast start, the way I look at it. So so that was a heck of a showdown. I don't really want to talk about that whole thing, but to go into Etzel Ford, and what the coach for Etzel Ford said in this little article here was that, all week they've been working on their attitude because they were blasting music in their own gymnasium because they knew it was going to be so loud in Allen Park.
Conditioning themselves.
Yeah, so they couldn't.
Mental
They were
conditioning.
blasting the noise so they could not even hear themselves call out signals. And so when they got to Allen Park and the crowd was all going nuts and stuff, they were okay with
Yeah.
it. And that's brilliant coaching on Etzel Ford's behalf.
Yeah, I think in sports and in anything in life, if you can replicate the environment in which you're going to play that game or in which you're going to take that test, you're going to be a lot more calm when the time comes, a lot more prepared. You got an update on the
I got an
Tigers
update.
there?
Kerry Carpenter just hit a 3-run bomb in the top of the
Oh.
ninth.
Looks
Yay,
like they're gonna
Tigers.
knot it up then.
Yay, Tigers. And the lady's name is Marissa Sauve, and we've heard that name it's a common name downriver. And that was her strategy, and I want to say that is brilliant strategy, to say the least. Where do you want to go next?
I got a little tennis news here. Boys tennis, which I was a little shocked. Tennis season already coming to a close.
Yeah, they're gonna be the first to get into their regionals and districts, I believe.
So they probably start playing games sometime in August.
Like football, probably
Yeah.
right at the beginning. Maybe I doubt a week before school, but probably right when school starts.
So
And-
Carlson finished first in the Downriver League meet. They won the title outright. A few notes, some Roosevelt players in here. Roosevelt had 5 third-place finishes at the league final, so 5 different pairs, I believe. In addition to Sean Hickey, who's number 2 in singles, the Bears assumed the 3rd-place spot in all 4 doubles flights.
Interesting.
Those teams would have been R.J. Pauly and Andrew Massengill at number 1, Nate McGlasky and Jaden Hogabook at number 2, Michael Fettig and Peyton Hanschwag at number 3, and Josh Kapari and Carson Haley at number 4 for the Bears.
Yeah, good job, guys. And Carlson, they were the league leaders. They swept the entire Downriver League slate this fall after winning all 7 of their conference dual meets.
Yeah.
So they're
See that
rolling.
here.
They became the 3rd different school in as many seasons to win the overall DRL title. Trenton and Woodhaven share that honor a season ago, and Roosevelt won consecutive crowns in 2021 and 2022.
Decent showing from the Bears, though, going 5-1-1 in the dual meets this regular season. That was tied for 2nd with Trenton, same record.
Nice.
And in the points awarded, Roosevelt finished 3rd with 12, trailing Trenton by just 1.
Yes, and that's funky the way they do that. Teams are awarded a point value based on their final placing in both the regular season standings as well as the league-wide tournament. First place receives 8 points, second receives 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here's in the final standings, as you said, Carlson had the 16 points, first in duels, first at the league. And that gave them 16. Roosevelt, 12. They finished 3rd.
Overall, things going pretty well there for Carleton High School athletics.
Yeah,
And if you drive by that facility, you can see there's an investment there.
I remember practicing when my daughter was little behind the schools there, and the fields were dirt. They were, yeah, now. Yeah, it's like when you go to the Woodhaven side, their baseball diamond is synthetic infield. You know, that way they can play in the rain. They can play and that whole, they got real bleacher seats and everything. Pretty good.
Yeah.
And I mean, we've got that. I mean, here, and then we've got one of the best ballparks over at Lincoln. No, off of Pennsylvania
Memorial
Road there.
there?
Yeah, Memorial. Sorry, that field is incredible. And I had hit one out of there in my playing days.
You just had to mention it.
I had to throw that in. I was 31 years old.
Were you playing with 12-year-olds? What are you
Yeah,
doing?
it was real easy to hit one out. Oh, they just fed it right up there. Yeah. No, there was an A-ball league there for a while, and I played till I was 25. I played hardball in Detroit, and then started umping. And my neighbor, back when I lived on the old house I was at, neighbor had a team there, and he was talking about he can't ever get any players. And I said, oh, man, I could play ball. I said, I just stopped playing ball. You know, it was 5 years before, 6 years before. I said, but I'll come, you know, I could fill a spot for you.
Yeah.
I went to the batting cages a couple of times with him, and he saw I could hit. And then I got in a game, and I think I was playing maybe first base or whatever, right field, I don't know. He needed a guy, you know. And guy threw me a 3-1 fastball, and son of a gun, if it didn't go over the fence when I hit it, you know. I was just shocked. I didn't think it. I mean, I was. It was in the gap. The gaps are what out there? 340, 350. They're big.
Yeah.
But you know, I hit it. It went out, and I trotted around the bases like I knew what I was doing.
You thought, great, they're going to expect this every time now.
No. We were a bunch of misfits. It was a misfit team, but they all loved playing hardball, and we were playing hardball. You know, and that was the thing. And that A League was pretty solid for the for a long time. That was a Class A league over there, but it slowly fizzled away, you know, because I don't know if they went somewhere else or what.
Yeah.
So a few months ago, was it a few months ago? I lose track of time. Where
At least a couple now, yeah.
that
say.
policeman Mohammed Syed got shot down in Melvindale when he was pulling a guy over, and he played soccer for Melvindale High. So they retired his soccer jersey number, and I can say that at that game, good for Melvindale boys soccer. They took care of New Boston Huron 1-0, and there's got a little picture. They framed up his jersey, and they're giving one to the family, and one's going to hang in the school. So that's pretty cool. They did a white jersey and a red jersey. So I just thought I wanted to mention that because the guy gave his life in the line of duty, and he was well loved. I mean, I'll say this: he'd been in my store more than once. When he got out of high school, he was a policeman in Melvindale, but he would come in, he would get stuff. He was helping coach like the 8-year-olds and stuff.
Yeah.
He was picking up ribbons or whatever for the little guys when they got done. So I knew him. I knew him not well, but I knew him. He's been in the store half dozen times. So I just wanted to mention that they retired his number over there at Melvindale High, which is now at the Baker College. That's their new high school.
Oh, okay.
And then they're still using the ball fields and the gymnasiums and stuff, but they set up a whole workout facility just outside the school. They got one of those blow-up buildings, and I think it's a blow-up building. I could be wrong on that, but yeah. So I just really wanted to. Okay, we're in the bottom of the ninth.
So you got an update
Bottom
there.
of the ninth. Nobody out. We're going to get started here.
I got some soccer scores if you want to go into it.
Yeah, we should go into it.
All right, so we'll back it up to September 30th, so from a week ago. Woodhaven over Allen Park 2-1. Carlson edges Trenton 1-0. And then Wyandotte put it on Taylor 8-2.
Nice.
October 1st, Lincoln Park 3-2 over Carlson. October 2nd, had Grozeal 7-0 over Trenton. Edsel Ford 3-1 over Woodhaven. And then Wyandotte victorious again, this time 4-3 over Riverview Gabriel Richard. Quite a few scores left to go through here. Southgate beat Taylor 4-1, and then October 3rd, your favorite place, Milan. Milan beats Carlson
Milan.
3-0. Monroe St. Mary 3-0 over Southgate. Airport and Wyandotte duel to a 1-1 tie. And then on the 4th, Crestwood 3-2 over Allen Park. Then on the now coming up now, these games are today. You've got Etzel Ford, Allen Park, Crestwood, Woodhaven, Trenton, Lincoln Park, and then in a positional game, Wyandotte and Southgate.
Nice. And then, you know what? Their districts are starting.
Yeah, so 2 days, October 9th, District 10, you'll have Woodhaven and Wyandotte matching up, Lincoln Park, Bedford, Monroe, and Taylor. And then District 30, Hamtramck and Southgate. And that will be followed on the 10th, October 10th, in District 12, Edsel Ford will take on Detroit Renaissance. And in District 30 that same day, Adrian and Trenton. So I flashed on a playoff game from a few years ago. A couple of years there in a row, it seemed the Bears were drawing Bedford in the playoffs. And boy, those corn-fed boys, they came to town and put a whooping on them.
I want to say a couple of stats about Mohammed Said when he played. He played from 2014 to 2016. He had 52 goals and 30 assists in 3 seasons. Not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad. He set a school record with 25 goals in a single season. They had 2 district title-winning teams in Melvindale, and twice he was on the News Herald team and the all-district team. And they just say, you know, the guy was a giver. You know, he was a great guy, and it's a shame that it happened. But great stats for a great athlete, and I mean that's why he went into law enforcement, because he had, when he was younger, there was an officer that kind of helped him out one day, and he said, I'm going to do this for a living. It's pretty cool. So yeah, we got districts starting up this week coming up, and right now in soccer they're going to start, I think, the 9th. Tennis regionals are going to get going. Football still got 2 weeks to go. My bowling, I think October I'm going to start some open practices if I get some free time on my hands. That's always the trick. But I'd just like to see how many are interested. I went to the school the other day. I had to stop in there and help interview the new boys coach. So Corey Coffey is the new boys coach. I don't know if I mentioned that last week or not, or when it even happened. Everything's been a blur.
I don't recall it. But
No, then it must not have been. Well, Corey Coffey, you're the new boys coach for the bowling team. He is a past bowler for the Roosevelt Bears. He graduated in, I want to say, 15 or 14, so he's like 10 years removed. So he's an adult now, and has a job and all that good stuff, but gets done working at about 2 o'clock every day, starts real early in the morning. And yeah, he wants to do it, and I think he's going to be good for the team. He was a two-hander, and he's been in men's leagues that I sub in, and he throws. When I go to the state tournament, he's always there. He averages in the 230s. You know, he can throw the ball. So
when did the two-hand approach become popularized? Wasn't that kind of like taboo years ago?
yeah, it started. Well, the one that got really good at it to make the PBA tour was Jason Belmonte, but he grew up doing it. His parents owned a bowling center in Australia, and that's how they started him. And he stuck with it. And then through his teen years, he started dominating everybody. And he's one of the best at it. But a lot of the kids now, I went to a finals this year when the Pro Tour was in town, and all 5 of the stepladder finalists were two-handers. So it's, I mean, the revs you can create on a ball. First, it used to be you just held it without your thumb, and you would flip it. You'd have to swing it with the cupped elbow just to hold the ball.
Yeah.
And then they got into use the other hand. So yeah, as bowling takes off two-handed, I've got, you know, Ellie Eisenegger. She's two-handing it, and she's going to be, we're going to really work with her this year and make her be the best bowler downriver. I'm getting probably one of the best bowlers downriver as a ninth grader, Keegan McLean. So we shall see how that all pans out for Coach Marty. He'll try not to screw this up.
Make your life easier.
Yeah, good bowlers make me a better coach. So as we wrap up, Joel, I want to thank you for sitting in for Ken. I got to get another quick update.
Get your fix in there.
We've got end of the
Final?
ninth inning, 3-0 final Tigers.
All right.
This is Monday, if you didn't know, the 7th of October. And Wednesday, going to be a party downtown,
Yeah.
Comerica Park. Everybody, that's Ken. I mean,
Wow.
he's Ken today. He's Ken today.
Somebody tell Ken.
That's Joel. I'm Marty. We're your local sports wrap-up host. We'll see everyone next week. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.